My brother, my sister, there is a profound mystery that Archangel Michael, through the Church, guards and protects, and that can forever change the way you see the simple gesture of lighting a candle for a soul. Especially at Christmas, that time when the lights turn on in the streets, families gather around the table, and hearts become more sensitive, more longing, more vulnerable before the memory of those who have departed. What happens on the other side when you do this? What does that soul see at that exact moment when the flame rises before the image of the child Jesus, of the nativity scene, of the Christmas tree, or even in the simple prayer corner of your home? What happens in the spiritual world when, amidst Christmas songs, the smell of food, family memories, you light a candle for someone who is no longer at the table? Prepare your heart, because what you are going to discover today will touch your soul in a way you never imagined. Before we begin, write in the comments, "I light this candle for the soul that most needs it this Christmas." Like this video so that more people may know this sacred mystery, and subscribe to the channel to receive more messages of faith and hope. Share with someone who has lost a loved one, because this truth can bring profound solace to the afflicted heart, especially at this Christmas time, when the empty chair at the supper seems to hurt even more than on any other day of the year. Archangel Michael, Prince of the Celestial Militias, he whom the Church invokes as defender in combat and protector of souls, is not a decorative detail of faith. He is mysteriously linked to everything that happens with souls, at the hour of death, in judgment, in purification, and, in a special way, when someone on earth lights a candle out of love. The ancient teachings of the Church present him as the one who accompanies souls, who fights against darkness, who defends the children of God at the hour of judgment, and watches over them after death. And it was said that, in strong liturgical times, like Christmas, this connection between heaven, earth, and purgatory becomes even more intense, as if heaven leaned closer to us, while Archangel Michael remains vigilant beside those who weep, suffer, and pray. In the light of this mission entrusted to him, the Church helps us to understand something extraordinary about what happens when we light a candle for a soul, be it of a deceased loved one, be it for ourselves, or for anyone who needs spiritual light. And when this gesture happens at Christmas, the saints and mystics say that grace pours over these souls like a bath of light, because it is Christ himself, light of the world, who comes to meet us in the grotto of Bethlehem and in every home willing to welcome him, under the watchful eye of Archangel Michael, who presents these prayers before God. Have you ever stopped to think why the Church has always used candles in prayers? Why has this gesture crossed centuries? Why is it so present in masses, in processions, on altars, in Christmas nativity scenes? Why, year after year, even with all the technology, do we still light candles before sacred images, before the tabernacle, on vigil nights, at midnight masses, in Christmas novenas? Because there is a real power, a mystical connection between the physical light of a candle and the spiritual light it represents. The fragile flame, trembling on the wick, represents the presence of Christ, the faith that insists on shining even in the midst of darkness. And when this flame is lit at Christmas, it speaks even more strongly to the heart of God, because it unites with the light that shone on the night the child Jesus was born. And Saint Michael is invoked as guardian of this great mystery of light, protecting those who approach with faith. The spiritual tradition of the Church teaches that, when you light a candle with faith, with pure intention, something extraordinary happens in the invisible world. The soul that is in purgatory, the one you love and who departed this life, experiences instant relief. The saints describe it as a cool breeze in the midst of intense heat, a light that penetrates the darkness, a warm embrace in the midst of the cold of spiritual solitude. And many faithful contemplate, in faith, Archangel Michael approaching these souls as a messenger of God's mercy. Now imagine all this happening at Christmas. Imagine that soul surrounded by the darkness of purification, feeling that it is distant from the full face of God, and suddenly perceives, like a flash in the night, a light that is lit because of your prayer. For us, here on earth, it is just a candle. For that soul, it is as if a small star had been born in the midst of darkness, guided by the hands of Archangel Michael towards the throne of God. The soul feels that it has not been forgotten, that the longing you feel on earth transforms into concrete charity, into living prayer, into real intercession. It perceives that there is still someone who remembers it by name, who offers their pain, their longing, their tear out of love. And at Christmas, when so many seem concerned only with gifts, parties, and appearances, a heart that stops to light a candle for a deceased soul shines in a special way before God, under the guard of Archangel Michael, who rejoices at every gesture of true love. Just imagine, my brother, my sister, the person you loved so much and who departed leaving longing may be at this moment in a process of purification. Perhaps you remember them with tears when you see the Christmas table set, the folded napkins, the plate that was theirs, the place where they used to sit, the jokes they told, the way they laughed. Perhaps your heart fills with longing when you look at the tree, at the nativity scene, and realize that person is no longer physically there. And when you light that candle, when you make that simple gesture, but full of love, that soul receives a divine consolation that, at Christmas time, is multiplied by the mercy of God. It is as if the Lord Himself said to it, "See, you are not alone. There is still someone who loves you. There is someone who intercedes for you. There is someone who remembers your soul precisely on the night I descended from heaven to save mankind." And in this mystery, Archangel Michael does not remain distant. It is as if he takes this small flame in his hands, this simple candle lit by you, and presents it before God as a plea for mercy for that soul you love, protecting, consoling, guiding souls towards the light of God, and also welcoming your humble prayer. Spiritual teachings explain that the candle flame represents the presence of Christ, the light of the world. When you light a candle, you are symbolically bringing the light of Jesus to that situation, to that soul, to that house, to that home. And the souls in purgatory recognize this light immediately. They know it is a prayer ascending to heaven, a sacrifice of love being offered for them. The saints said that souls see the light of the candle as a star shining in the darkness, as a lighthouse guiding a lost ship at sea on a stormy night. And when this candle is lit at Christmas, many souls see it as if it were a reflection of the Star of Bethlehem itself, the one that guided the Magi to the child God. For them, the candle becomes a sign that mercy is coming, that hope still shines, that there is someone on earth who, instead of just remembering with pain, remembers with faith, aided by the protection of Archangel Michael, who encourages them to trust even more in the love of God. Now I will tell you clearly, when you light a candle for a soul at Christmas, the text is not just a flame. It sees a sign that it is still loved. It sees the hope of approaching God faster. It sees a path of light opened by your faith. It feels the relief from the fire of purification. It feels the presence of God approaching. And at the same time, it feels an impulse of love for you, which becomes prayer in its favor. And, in the faith of the Church, many believe that it is Archangel Michael himself who guides it, step by step, towards that light. This light is not merely physical. It is not just a beautiful decoration beside the nativity scene. It transforms into spiritual light that illuminates the path of these souls towards heaven. Every lit candle is like a ladder being built step by step, bringing these souls closer to the eternal glory of God. And the Church teaches that, in strong liturgical times, like Christmas and Easter, these steps are climbed even faster, because the prayer of the faithful unites in a special way with divine mercy. Under the vigilance of Archangel Michael, who fights for the salvation of souls. But there is more. Spiritual masters reveal that when you light a candle accompanied by sincere prayer, accompanied by tears of love and longing, that soul not only receives consolation, it sees your gesture,
It perceives your intention. It feels that your pain is not merely human, but becomes prayer. Yes, my brother, my sister, the souls in purgatory, although they are in the process of purification, have a special power of intercession. They can no longer acquire merits for themselves, but they can pray for those who help them. And often, tradition teaches, it is at Christmas time that these souls become very active intercessors for those who, on Christmas night or during the novena, light a candle for them, entrusting themselves also to the care of Archangel Michael. They thank God for you. They ask for blessings upon your life. They implore for protection for your home, for your family,
for your children, for your decisions. They become, before God, like voices that say, "Lord, have mercy on the one who remembered me, who helped me when I could do nothing for myself. Bless them, protect them, guard them." And Archangel Michael, defender of the people of God, unites in the faith of the Church to this cry in favor of those who love and pray. How many times have you lit a candle for your mother who has departed, for your father, your grandfather, your grandmother, that dear friend, that child, that sibling, that person whose absence hurts even more when Christmas arrives? Know that, at that moment, besides helping them on their spiritual path, you also create a bridge of intercession. These souls, grateful for your gesture of love, cry out to heaven for you. Ask for protection for your life. Ask for blessings for your family. Ask for light for your soul. Many invisible graces you receive may be directly linked to these souls who, in silence, pray for you. And at Christmas, when you light a candle amidst the lights, the carols, and the decorations, this bridge of intercession becomes even more intense, because it unites with the light of Christ who is born, while Archangel Michael watches over all who wait in divine mercy. The great spiritual masters used to say, never underestimate the power of a simple candle lit with faith, because for God it is not the size of the gesture that matters, but the sincerity of the heart. You can light a small, inexpensive, simple candle, perhaps bought in the rush of the end of the year, perhaps kept for some time for a special moment. You can light it before a simple nativity scene, before a crucifix, before an image of Our Lady. But if you do it with true love, with genuine faith, with pure intention, this candle has the power to bring a ray of light to a soul that may have been waiting a long time for a gesture like this. Think about it. When you light that candle and say, "For my mother, may God have her in His glory," or "For my father, who is no longer at the Christmas table, but lives in the memory of my heart," the soul of your mother, your father, whoever it may be, experiences a moment of profound peace. It sees, in the light of the candle, the reflection of the love you still feel. It feels your love crossing dimensions, reaching where it is. And God, who sees this gesture of charity, this work of spiritual mercy, pours graces upon that soul. The flames of purgatory diminish. The time of purification shortens. Hope strengthens. Longing is touched by the promise of reunion. At Christmas, when the Church celebrates God who makes Himself small out of love, mercy pours abundantly upon souls, especially those for whom someone remembered to light a candle, to pray, to offer a Mass, also asking for the protection of Archangel Michael, who fights so that no soul is lost. The Church teaches that there is a spiritual hierarchy in the efficacy of prayers for souls. The Mass is the most powerful prayer, for it is the sacrifice of Christ Himself being renewed on the altar. Then come the Rosary, the Way of the Cross, specific prayers for the deceased, and the candle. The candle is like a permanent symbol of your prayer. As it burns, it is as if your plea continues to ascend to heaven, even after you have left. Even while you sleep, while you work, while you participate in supper, while you talk with family on Christmas night. This is extraordinary, isn't it? You light a candle on the morning of the 24th or 25th, you go about your household chores, cooking, tidying, visiting, but that candle continues to burn, continues to symbolize your prayer, continues to spiritually illuminate the soul for which it was offered. It is as if you had left an angel there, interceding without ceasing, keeping alive the flame of your faith and your love. And at Christmas, this symbolic angel remains before the child Jesus, as if to say, "Lord, receive this light. Receive this prayer. Receive this mercy offered out of love for those who suffer." And in the faith of the Church, we know that Archangel Michael is always linked to this combat in favor of souls, as commander of the celestial militias. The saints also warned about the importance of intention. It is not enough to light a candle mechanically, without thinking, without feeling, just out of habit or superstition. It is necessary to light it with the heart. It is necessary to make that instant a moment of true prayer. Take the candle, hold it for an instant, close your eyes, think of the person for whom you are lighting it. Recall the sound of their voice, their gestures, their smiles, the Christmases you have lived together. Feel the love, feel the longing, feel the faith. Then light it and say a prayer, even a simple one. Eternal rest grant unto them, O Lord, and let perpetual light shine upon them. May they rest in peace. Amen. You can do this beside the tree, before the nativity scene, before supper, after midnight mass, or at any time during this holy season. The important thing is that it be done with love. Christian spirituality reminds us that many servants of God saw souls. They had a special sensitivity to the spiritual world, and on several occasions they witnessed souls appearing to thank them for lit candles, for masses celebrated, for prayers prayed. A famous story tells that a soul appeared to a priest and said, "I was in the deepest darkness of purgatory, but a candle lit for me, accompanied by a sincere prayer, brought me such great relief that I felt as if I had been taken from the fire and placed in a cool and fragrant garden." Now, imagine this same experience happening at Christmas, when the entire church celebrates the arrival of light into the world. Imagine how many souls feel this relief precisely because someone, amidst so many preparations, remembered to light a candle for them. Entrusting them also to the care of Archangel Michael, who defends them against all darkness. Do you perceive the importance of what we are talking about? It is not superstition, it is not just tradition, it is not an empty custom. It is a profound spiritual reality. Souls need our help. They can no longer do anything for themselves. They depend on our prayers, our masses, our candles, our sacrifices. And when we do this, we not only help these souls, but we also grow spiritually. We practice charity, we exercise faith, we nourish hope, we strengthen our bond with eternity. At Christmas, this charity becomes even more precious in the eyes of God, because it resembles the very love that led Christ to be born among us, and harmonizes with the mission of Archangel Michael, who fights for the salvation of souls and protects those who intercede for them. And here is something very important that the Church teaches. When you light a candle for a soul that is already in heaven, that has already been saved, that prayer is not lost. God, in His infinite wisdom and justice, redirects that grace to another soul that needs it more. So never be afraid to pray, to light candles, to do spiritual good. Nothing is lost before God. At Christmas especially, no tear, no sigh, no gesture of love goes unnoticed. You may be thinking, but I don't know if my loved one is in purgatory or in heaven. It doesn't matter, my brother, my sister. Pray, light the candle, trust in God. If the soul is already in eternal glory, your prayer will be directed to someone who needs it. If it is still in purification, you will be shortening its path to the full vision of God. Either way, it is an act of love, of faith, of hope. And at Christmas, this act becomes like a gift that you offer not only to the soul, but also to the child Jesus, who came to earth precisely to save souls and open the gates of heaven, under the watchful eye of Archangel Michael, who rejoices for every heart that loves to the end. And if you are going through a difficult time, if you need spiritual help, protection, guidance, inner healing, Light a candle also for yourself, especially this Christmas. Ask God to illuminate your path, to drive away the darkness from your life, to bring light to your decisions, healing to your pains, peace to your heart, and ask Archangel Michael to fight by your side, to defend your home, your family, and your soul. The candle is a channel of blessings, both for the living and for the dead. Throughout history, many faithful lived a lifetime dedicated to prayer, to sacrifice, to intercession for souls. They united their pains to the pains of Christ, knowing that nothing is in vain in the eyes of God. And the Church teaches us that each of us can participate in this mission of mercy in a simple way: praying, lighting candles, offering small sacrifices, uniting our pains to the pains of Christ.
Especially during the Christmas festivities, also invoking the help of Archangel Michael. How many times do you pass in front of a church and see those lit candles? Each of them represents a story, a pain, a hope, a love, a faith. Each flame is a prayer ascending to heaven, and we can imagine Saint Michael looking at these small lights as stars that illuminate the path of souls towards God, protecting those who pray and those who are remembered. Now you know what the soul sees when you light a candle for it at Christmas. It sees love, it sees light, it sees hope. It sees that it has not been forgotten, that the empty chair at supper does not mean abandonment, but longing transformed into prayer. It feels divine consolation arriving through your faith, and it thanks you, promising to intercede for you when it reaches heaven, while Archangel Michael welcomes it into the embrace of God's mercy. And when these souls, purified by grace, finally reach heaven, the Christian faith contemplates Archangel Michael as the one who welcomes them into the light of God, after having been helped by simple gestures like your lit candle at Christmas. Do not let this teaching be lost. Practice it. Live this spiritual reality. Keep alive the sacred tradition of lighting candles for your deceased, for yourself, for your family, for those who need it. And this Christmas, do it with even more love, even more faith, even more confidence in God's mercy. Believe that God, in His infinite goodness, is working wonders through this simple yet profoundly powerful gesture, and that Archangel Michael fights by your side on this path of light. The Church always reminds us: pray, hope, and trust. We add, light candles with faith, especially this Christmas. Invoke Archangel Michael, and trust that God is taking care of everything, both the living and the dead, both those you see and those who have departed, but remain alive in the spiritual world, waiting for divine mercy that can arrive through your prayers and your candles lit with love. If this message touched your heart, if you learned something new about this sacred mystery, write in the comments, "I light a candle of faith this Christmas." Like this video so that more people may know this teaching linked to Archangel Michael. Share with someone who has lost a loved one and needs this solace. And if you are not yet subscribed, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell to receive more messages that strengthen faith and illuminate the spiritual path. May God bless you, your family, and all souls who need our prayers this Christmas. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, Amen.